What up, what up, what up? It's your homeboy B. Watt, and you are now tuned into another episode of Cancel B. Watt. And on today, I want to talk about a person who has really been irking me. I would like to talk about a young woman who has recently made her presence felt on the internet, but she has been getting on my nerves. So now I'm going to reveal to you who and explain to you why. JustPearlyThings. And as you can tell from her name, because pearls are white, she is white. So you would think she would just talk about white things, but no. She wants to talk about non-white things. Matter of fact, she wants to talk about black issues. And granted, while we have a lot of them to discuss, we do not care about your opinion, ma'am. Let me explain further who she is for those who may not be familiar with this young woman. A while back, she calls into the late great Kevin Samuels show, and because of technical difficulties, she winds up having a couple of minute conversation with Mr. Samuels, which no one heard. She claims that she parlayed that into allegedly having a conversation with Mr. Samuels in which he just ripped her YouTube channel apart, said it was trash. So in an effort to rebrand herself and to rebuild her YouTube channel, she literally steals all of Mr. Samuels' material, talking points, his style, literally everything.
1 year ago, Kevin Samuels proclaimed that a cold winter was coming for single women.
Johnny. Why did you say that? If you're saying 10, you're saying you're perfect? Men built the world. Men built the world.
But the point is, like, women tend to overrate themselves.
Yeah,
generally.
confidence is a lie.
Question was asked by Kevin Samuels, rest in peace. So the topic today is, what do you have to offer a man that you haven't given any other man?
I like this question.
She stole everything from Mr. Kevin Samuels and she's made her own brand with it. The self-proclaimed whitest girl on earth has held herself and many other black people has held her as well as being the next Kevin Samuels, the heir to the legacy of Mr. Kevin Samuels. And I am not only appalled, but I am embarrassed. I am disgusted at some of you guys. But I'm going to forgive you in advance, and I'm going to explain to you how this happened to you all and what's the problem here. So originally, she was in London, in the UK, right? And she blows up on the internet, but she blows up in Black London, in the black aspect of the internet, like Black Twitter, like Black Instagram. And I became aware of her because all of the black podcasters, all of the black YouTube people were doing interviews with this woman, and I figured it out, right? She probably contacted them, said, hey, I was on Kevin Samuels' show. She tells some lie about how Kevin Samuels red-pilled her and she saw the light. And then she tells some lie about how Kevin Samuels helped her out with her channel, maybe gave her his blessing, which is completely false. Come on, guys. And next thing you know, she's on YouTube having conversations with some of the most prominent podcasters in the black community, all off the strength and the name of Kevin Samuels. And before I go any further, let me speak on these guys who should be ashamed of themselves for allowing this Caucasian woman to come on their platforms stealing all of Kevin Samuels' material. I would like to point out the hypocrisy in these interviews. Let me explain what I mean. African American women, like Brittany Renner, for example, go on those same platforms and they grill her to death. But little Miss Plain Jane Bunny Rabbit comes on these shows and y'all are complete gentlemen. Matter of fact, some of y'all seem to be so afraid of this woman's presence that y'all allow her to psychologically dominate you. Hafiz, my guy from Mediocre Tutorials. And for the record, I agree with Hafiz, right? What he was saying was men and women have nuances. For this woman to be coming on all of these platforms with the same exact opinion as a man, really the same exact opinion as Kevin Samuels, is honestly BS. Men and women should strive to understand each other, have sympathy and compassion for each other. But because we have two different experiences on this plane, it is unlikely that we're going to have the exact same opinion. So it's unnatural for this Caucasian woman to have the same exact opinion as most black men. I do not understand nor choose to understand you guys' obsession with this woman, but here's the problem with it. It is embarrassing, degrading, and inappropriate For y'all to allow this Caucasian woman to come into a black space judging and speaking about and on black issues. I do not want to see a Caucasian woman ridiculing black men about black issues. I do not want to see a Caucasian woman speaking about black women, period. The fact that y'all allowed this woman to do this on your platforms shows me that all this red pill bull that y'all been on did not work. And let's be honest, most of these guys in this red pill space on the internet, man, y'all not really like that. Let's be honest here. Y'all not like that. All that alpha male, beta male, woman hating bull. Y'all letting this Caucasian woman come on y'all platforms and psychologically dominate y'all, embarrass y'all. She can smell that y'all not like that. And she's jumping all over y'all. And she don't have the right to do it. Like I said, she's still in Mr. Samuels' talking points. Let me tell you a little bit about this woman's background, right? This is a white, upper middle class woman. She has 9 brothers and sisters. She grew up with a nanny and had a mother who worked because she chose to. She said she comes from a family with strict guidelines on dating, right? She comes from an achieving family, and you can't even date anybody in her family or get anywhere close to her family unless you meet certain academic and professional qualifications. She said that all of her brothers are high-value men, and they would not date any of these hoes, i.e. black women. She said one of the first Kevin Samuels episodes that she heard was him speaking on how high-value men exercise cheating options. So she said to herself, according to this criteria, her father was a high-value man. So she picked up the phone and called him and said, "Hey, Pops, this man says you're a high-value man. Where are your hoes, Pops? Where your hoes at?" And there's nothing wrong with her family. Sounds like a beautiful family. The problem here is that she was not brought up like us. She cannot relate to, understand, sympathize, therefore she should not be speaking on black issues, period. A culture vulture is a person from outside of the culture who comes in the culture and uses it for personal profit and gain, although they may not personally identify with said culture. This woman could not possibly personally identify with any of the messages that Kevin Samuels was giving black men and women, yet she has warped her entire identity and made a brand out of speaking about black male and black female issues, and I don't like it. When I go on her channel, I see nothing but Kevin Samuels material, right? And I get it. They call it free use, right? Her reacted to Kevin Samuels material. But my thing is, if you're going to speak about Kevin Samuels material, at least have something new to add to the conversation. She does not have anything new to add to the conversation. She has not said anything spectacular or significant in any way, shape, or form. She is literally verbatim, line for line, repeating Kevin Samuels' words to us. So, since she wants to be the heir to the throne of Kevin Samuels so freaking bad, let's do it. What do we rate this woman on a scale of 1 to 10? Fresh out the shower, fresh face, no makeup, right? We've heard it all before. What do we rate her? I rate her nothing. I don't rate her anything. I'm completely uninterested in the non-melanated creatures of the earth. She is a former, almost professional volleyball player, yet she is not physically attractive to me in any way. Below average body, below average shape, below average face. I do not perceive anything particularly feminine about this woman, right? She was raised with all these boys. She said she was raised as a tomboy. She's 6 foot tall. She looks like a dude to me, which brings me to my next point. Since she wants to be Kevin Samuels so bad, this is the perfect time for me to openly question her sexuality. I think she's part of the alphabet rainbow community. She's been on all these platforms asking all the questions. None of y'all asked her about her dating history. I haven't seen her with any men. I don't see her being a submissive wife to any man, and I cannot speak for Mr. Samuels, nor will I try to, but she seems no different from many of the modern women that he was speaking to, which is why she called into the show, right? So tell me how in under a year and a half, she not only has been fully red pill, quote unquote, but she has now elevated and ascended to the leader of the red pill morons on the internet. I saw the interview where Just Pearly Things brought Brittany Renner onto her show. I think Brittany Renner is both beautiful and intelligent, but unfortunately, she let this woman psychologically dominate her, shame her, and really just abuse her publicly. And let me just tell you, Just Pearly Things, it does not matter how red pill you are. It does not matter what you think or say about Miss Brittany Renner. We're going to choose her over you every single time because you're a basic ass YG. And you cannot overcome that genetic nor spiritual deficiency. Let me explain to you why this is so historically significant. People, this woman's real name is Pearl Davis. Last name Davis. And I know what you're thinking. That's a black name. No, it's a white name. Sometimes we all have to take a moment and remember and reappreciate the fact that after 450 years, we are still captured slaves in America. So from time to time, we may come across a Caucasian person who shares the same last name as us. And when that happens, I challenge you. Have a conversation with that person. Ask them where their family is from. You may come to realize that y'all family is from similar areas, right? Your great-grandfather may have grew up in the same area as their great-grandfather. You may also then come to discover that they may have lived in this place at a time when owning slaves was perfectly legal and acceptable. This has actually happened to me before. I had a class with a young woman who we shared a last name, right? And I asked her where she was from, Alabama. Her grandfather was from Alabama. My father, grandfather, and great-grandfather was from Alabama, except my great-grandfather was a slave in Alabama. Tell me why I Googled her great-grandfather's name and confirmed that he was a prominent slave owner in that area at that time. And for anybody who feels like that story is cap, here's the evidence. Imagine having a class with the great-granddaughter of the man who used to own your great-grandfather and realizing that, man, she pulling up at school in a Benz. You caught the bus to school. Her family helping her start a business. She got money for marketing and advertisement. We trying to help our people pay off traffic tickets and get that credit card debt down. If you think that you are not in school, if you think you're not competing for jobs against people who are still benefiting from finances that their family earned from slavery, you are disillusioned. Surprise, they still spending slave money, y'all. Now imagine a woman, getting back to Just Pearly Things, whose family may come from a slave-owning background, stealing all of a black man's intellectual property and regurgitating that information back to us. Ha 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 ha. Just Pearly Things, what have you done? What experience do you have? What gives you the right to think that you have any place in the conversation between black men and black women? Stop. Go deal with the matters in your community, and we will deal with the matters in our community. To the manosphere, to all the red pill, quote unquote, guys, every single group and organization in American history which has tried to, quote unquote, wake people up was infiltrated and destroyed by outside forces. Take notice, you are all compromised now. You have been successfully infiltrated by a woman who is not of your own, and you have given her a voice in your community. Destruction is soon to follow. It is my suggestion to everyone who is following this woman to check her credentials. Did you really have a conversation with Kevin Samuels? Why are you trying to make it seem like Mr. Kevin Samuels co-signed your channel when he did not? Are you in fact stealing all of his talking points? Do you have anything new to add to this conversation? And if she cannot be tried, tested, and passed, then she needs to be removed from this conversation. So listen, like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video. Haven't these women caused enough destruction in our community? Please don't continue to allow this to happen. Listen, like, subscribe. Tune in again to another episode of Cancel Be Watt.